In this video, we are going to create a basic C program that prints any multiplication table you want. Are you ready? Let's get started. So let's start by including our input-output header file. Standard input-output. Now we need our main function. So first we need to ask the user which multiplication table he wants to print, something like this. So we will ask which table you want to print. And then we have to scan that user entered input. So I'm going to declare a variable like int, and you can call it as input or number, whatever you want. So I'm going to call it as input. And now we have to scan that user entered number with the scan of %d for integers, and we need to store it inside our input variable. Now once the user enters the number, we need to print the multiplication table like 10 times or even 20 times. For that, we are going to use a for loop, and we declare an integer like that. So we start at 1. So let's say the user entered the number like 4. We need to start at 4 and print like 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So now I will be less than or equal to, let's say we are printing the table with 10 rows and I++. Now we need to print each row. For that, we're going to be using the printf statement, and we will print like 4 times 1 is 4. For that, we're going to use %d, multiplication symbol, %d again, and the result is also an integer. Now we need to replace those %d's with the actual values. First input, and then the value of I, and then we have to multiply our input with I value. Input times I, like that. Let's give it a new line here. Now this loop will start from 1 and print the multiplication table and end after printing 10 rows. So once we exit out of the loop, we simply return a 0. Let me try to compile and run it. Program name is multiplication table. Let's say 12. Now it's printed the 12th table. But you can see we actually have some alignment issues here. So when the product becomes 3 digits, the alignment is actually a bit off. So we can change that by making each of these products by at least 3 digits. We can specify the output here. So if we enter 3, that means our product will be at least 3 digits longer. Let me compile again and run the program. Which table you want to print? Let's say 17. Now you can see these alignment issues are okay, but our digits have actually not aligned perfectly, our I values. Let's make them at least 2 digits longer. Compile again. Which table? Let's say 14. Now you can see they're nicely aligned. So far we have keep the 14 constant here, but if you want to reverse this order of the operation, you can do it. Let's say I copy the print statement. What I do is, instead of a new line, I will print the second format on the same line as the first parameter. I will pass I followed by input, and input times I or I times input both are same. Now let's try to print it. Let's compile again. Clear the screen. Which table? Let's say 17. Okay, we need to work on with some alignment issues, same as before. Compile and run again. Let me clear the screen for you. Which table? Let's say 11. Now you can see the both tables are perfectly aligned. So far we are printing only integer tables. So if you want to print floating point tables, all you need to do is just change your input type to a float, and also change the format specified to float, and also a format specifiers in the printf statement. Just change everything like this, and this one too. Now let's try to print a floating point multiplication table. Let's say 4.5. We can actually reduce the precision we need by simply saying, let's say we want 3 digits after the decimal digits. We can simply say .3. Let's try to print it one more time. Which table? Let's say 3.87. Now these are truncated. Let's do the same for our input too. Compile and run the program. Which table? Let's say 4.72. Now it's a little nice this time around. But if you notice here, we actually got 6 characters, but here we only got 5 characters, including the period. We can change how it is printed. Let me change it. So if you say 6 here, 6.3f, and 6.3f here too, what that actually means is a floating point number should be at least 6 characters wide, and we want 3 digits precision after that period. So let's compile and run the program again once more time. Now which table do you want to print? Let's say 4.82. Now you can see all of our values are nicely aligned. Now let me give you 2 quick practice questions. So far we have printing just 10 rows of the multiplication table. Let me show you. So if we say 2.56, we are just printing 10 rows. How do you think you can make it print 20 rows or even 15 rows? You can also try to print the tables from bottom to top. And that's it for this multiplication table program. If you have any doubts or want to suggest me anything regarding any aspect of the video, just let me know in the comments below.